March 16, 2020. Please call the roll.
Trustee Cleveland?
Here.
Trustee Davis? Trustee Husk?
Here.
Trustee Nichols?
Here.
Stout?
Here.
Trustee Valdez? Mayor Hill?
Here. Let the record show a quorum is present. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections in the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cleveland,
Second.
second by trustee Nichols. We have a motion to second. Again, any corrections, additions, deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved as written. We have the council meeting minutes from February 24th, 2020 to be approved tonight. Any corrections or clarifications? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Moved.
Motion by trustee Husk,
Second.
second by trustee Stout. We have a motion to second. Any corrections or clarifications? Again, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Those minute meetings are approved. We have expenditures for the month of $1,835,581.54. Some of the larger items in there were our Blue Cross Blue Shield for our health insurance, a little over $133,000. CLC Joint Action Water Agency for our fresh Lake Michigan water, same thing, a little over $133,000. Lake County Public Works for sewer use and surcharge costs, a little over $310,000. Chicagoland Paving for the asphalt pavement patching and fiscal year 2020 road program, a little over $312,000. And the treasurer of the state of Illinois for the Orchard Lane agreement, a little over $432,000. Those are some of the bigger items. We have several other items that have to be paid. The staff will all look through those. The trustees have all had a chance to look through those. Any of the trustees have any questions on those? If not, is there a motion to approve the expenditures?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Nichols, second by trustee Cleveland. We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the expenditures? Please call the roll.
Trustee Nichols?
Aye.
Stout?
Aye.
Trustee Cleveland?
Aye.
Husk?
Aye.
That's approved. We have no ratifications tonight, so we'll move on to our standing committee reports. Any of the trustees have any reports?
Just recognizing one of our local businesses with Christoph's. Just thought I saw something tonight on the news that was a nice idea of his, that even though he's going to lose business out of this, he's giving away free pizzas to the community, especially anyone who is in need right now for the night. I thought that was a nice gesture, especially when he's going to be hurting for a while too.
Absolutely. The sudden shutdown is going to put them all in situations that will be hard to deal with. Hopefully, the federal government will soon pass legislation to help their employees at least through a reimbursement to them through the employer, and we'll see what happens long term. I was told that the IML president, Leanne Rockingham, asked the governor today to authorize the emergency loan program through the SBA, and we'll see if that happens or not. If that happens, a lot of businesses will have more availability to cash for the short or low interest loans between I think 2.75 for nonprofit and 3.75% for regular businesses. They can borrow money to at least make their day-to-day cash flow improve temporarily. It's going to be very tough, but that's a great thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other restaurants that don't do much carry-out, don't do much delivery, that have a lot of food suddenly stuck with, and hopefully they will do the same thing rather than throw it out.
Correct.
Anything else? I know at Round Lake Beach, we have canceled our events, culture center. We had a band coming up and so forth, so that's all canceled until further notice. We will let everyone know when we're ready to resume those again. Hopefully this will be a short-term issue for our whole nation, and we get by this and be able to move on with our lives again. Any other reports? Okay. I just mentioned a little bit here with the coronavirus, COVID-19. We've been working with both the state and federal officials to minimize the spread and maximize the treatment. We haven't had any cases in Round Lake Beach, but I'm sure that will just be a temporary situation, the way it spreads. I'm sure we will have a case eventually. Many of the decisions are made by state and federal and state officials. Travel, closing schools, as was just heard, closing bars and restaurants. They closed the casinos and many other places that keep the social distancing to its maximum. We did take it upon ourselves to contact the local nursing home and make sure that they were trying to lock down as tight as possible to keep out anyone that might be walking in with the coronavirus. So hopefully that was done and prevents that from happening. Social distancing seems to be the best way to break the cycle of infections spreading from person to person. Please do your part by practicing the 3 C's, clean, cover, and contain. As you can see, I work on practicing social distancing up here. Everyone's staying away from me. So that's for tonight's meeting here. We don't plan to have any future meetings for the next 3 weeks. We'll decide before that 3-week period if in fact we will continue that break in meetings longer than that, or if we will resume meetings in 3 weeks. A lot will depend on how the virus spreads and what kind of containment we achieve. So with that being said, on our mayor's report tonight, we do have declaring April 24th, 2020 as Arbor Day in the Village of Round Lake Beach. If we could please have our clerk read that. Apparently she does not have that. Okay, let's see here.
There you go.
And she's getting it brought to her. Okay, be just a minute here, folks.
Declaring April 24th, 2020 as Arbor Day in the Village of Round Lake Beach. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-saving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Round Lake Beach, Lake County, Illinois, as follows. In the Village of Round Lake Beach, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Past 16th day of December 2020.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Cleveland, second by trustee Stout. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you, everyone. Arbor Day's definitely something we should celebrate. So she mentioned the proclamation there, trees convert carbon dioxide to oxygen so we can breathe it again, so can all the other animals out there. They give us a lot of joy and they give us shade. Just so many things that trees do for our lives. And that's just one of many plants out there, so hopefully we can keep them healthy in our village. We went through a scare there with the emerald ash borer. I think we pretty much have that cleaned up, and hopefully there won't be any more issues for some time. Is there a clerk's report tonight? Okay, we'll move on to our public hearing then. We have the fiscal year 2021 budget hearing that I will now call to order, and I'll turn it over to Matt Rossi, our finance director.
Good evening, everyone. I will be presenting the fiscal year 2021 proposed budget tonight. There was a notice posted in the Lake County News Sun on March 6th stating that we'd be having the hearing tonight. During the committee meeting last week, along with meetings with the trustees, I had the opportunity to go into detail on the proposed budget. In addition to the proposed budget, it has also been posted on the website for the public to view for the past week. So, Some of the challenges we ran into this year, two of our major revenue sources have been steadily declining, and it's been affecting our overall general fund revenue amounts. On the expense side, pension costs have been a statewide issue in Illinois, and Round Lake Beach is not immune to this. The village contribution toward the police pension and IMRF increased largely from last year. The village has made efforts to cut other costs elsewhere, but pensions are not controlled by us, and as they grow, they continue to eat into the village's operating and capital budgets. A couple of the highlights from the fiscal year I apologize, it's supposed to be the 2021 budget highlights. There are 0 additional staffing requests across the village. We have a fully balanced budget. We are staying at our 65% general fund balance per village's policy, and all other funds will also stay above the minimum 25% fund balance. This graph outlines the major revenues in the general fund. As you can see here, the local sales tax takes up the large majority of it. That it takes up about $4.1 million. Behind that is income tax, and right behind that one is property tax in terms of amount of revenue generated in the general fund. This is the revenue by category throughout the entire village, so for all the funds. As you can see, we are very heavily reliant on tax collection here, taking in 50% of the village's revenue. But behind that is transfers in to different funds, and then charges for services. The majority of charges for services throughout all the funds consist of the water revenue sales within the water fund. Expenditures by categories, so shown in this graph are the different expenditures throughout the entire village. It comes as no surprise that salaries and benefits here takes up the majority of it, and that's because we're a government entity and we're here to provide services to our residents. Closely behind that is our contractual services, and once again, a lot of this has to do with our water service as we purchase water from Jawa and resell it to our residents. This is our general fund operating expenditures. Once again, as you can see, salaries and benefits takes up the majority of the operating expenditure. The total for the general fund is about $12.4 million. The water fund operating expenditure, the total amount for this fund is about $3.5 million. The proposed capital projects for next fiscal year are, there's going to be road construction projects, updates to village facilities, well and lift station reconstruction, continuation of vehicle replacement plans, IT infrastructure updates, equipment replacement, and sewer line maintenance. So this is a listing of all the funds the village has and how much is budgeted for next fiscal year. So as you can see, as is normal, general fund has the majority of the expenditure, or it has the highest budget at about $15.8 million. The water and sewer fund also is about $5.3 million. We also have budgeted to pay back about $2.3 million in general obligation debt. And all of these funds end up being the total village 2021 proposed budget amount of $30,934,046. Any questions that we haven't covered previously? Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, for the quick rundown there. I know we discuss this every year, but you mentioned the pensions and how we have no control over the pensions that we have in our community here. Those are definitely eating up a big share of our budget, and until the state decides to take pensions seriously and make some kind of fixes to this, it's going to continue to eat up more and more of the money that should be going towards other purposes in the county, or in the county and in the village. Are there any questions by the board? Are there any questions by the audience? Okay, well, thank you all for being here. I'll call this public hearing to a close, and we'll move on to our items of business. See, item A is an ordinance approving the annual municipal budget for the fiscal year 2020-2021. Just had the budget hearing. There were no comments made by anyone in the public or by the board for that matter. They have all discussed it several times in the past month here, working together to come up with this, so there aren't any adjustments or any changes to be made. So is there a motion to approve to pass the 2020-2021 fiscal budget?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Husk,
Second.
second by trustee Davis. We have a motion and a second. Any questions by the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Cleveland?
Aye.
Trustee Davis? Trustee Husk?
Aye.
Trustee Nichols?
Aye.
Aye.
That one's approved. Item B is a resolution appointing an authorized agent to IMRF. We're going to be appointing our finance director as the IMRF authorized agent. We have to have someone in the village that is the authorized agent to interact with the IMRF for the pensions for part of our staff here, other than the police department. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cleveland,
Second.
second by trustee Nichols. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Davis? Trustee Husk?
Aye.
Trustee Nichols?
Aye.
Stout? Trustee Cleveland?
Aye.
That's also approved. Item C is a resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain property located in Round Lake Beach, Illinois. Frank's Floors used to be next to the house at 906 Lake Road. The house is now down, and lot will be paid for parking at the new retail that will be at the old Frank's Floor building. This is a way to help rejuvenate an area that would have just sat vacant for years and years, that the village wanted to step in to help out. Frank's building was nice, but they had no parking for any retail, and so it would have sat there vacant. There was an old house that was a detriment to the whole community, it looked pretty bad, that we were able to tear down with the, working through some other, yeah, what was their name? Dave, what's the name of the not-for-profit?
The not-for-profit is the Fuller Center.
Ah, the Fuller, yeah, Fuller Foundation. The ones that we worked through in order to get the property and use some state money to help tear it down and so forth. So it made a big difference in the corner, and hopefully it will continue in the long term here to draw some tax revenue to the village now rather than just sitting there vacant. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Stout,
Second.
second by trustee Cleveland. We have a motion and a second. Any questions by the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk?
Aye.
Nichols?
Aye.
Stout? Trustee Cleveland?
Aye.
That's also approved. Item D is a resolution authorizing waiving competitive bids and approving an award of contract to Escalis American Floor Show Incorporated. It's time for us to replace the carpeting in our village hall and do another section over the police department. This is a budgeted expense as part of our capital improvement plan, so it's all planned out as far as those bigger expenses like that, so we don't negatively affect the budget. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cleveland,
Second.
second by trustee Husk. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Nichols?
Aye.
Stout?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Husk?
Aye.
That's also approved. Item E is a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with the Lake County Sheriff's Office. We're going to be joining the Lake County Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Group to see if it'll help us better attack the gang crime in our community and also help improve our staffing on the streets. We'll be able to count on them for some manpower when we have situations in town or to help prevent situations from occurring. At the same time, we'll be able to better man our own staff on the streets around Lake Beach. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Nichols,
Second.
second by trustee Cleveland. We have a motion and a second. Any questions by the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Stout? Trustee Cleveland?
Aye.
Davis? Trustee Husk?
Aye.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item F is a resolution authorizing and approving an award of contract to Creative Sounds. We've worked with Creative Sounds for several years now. They provide our sound for our lighting, our sound and lighting systems for both Beach Fest and many of the other events we hold at the Cultural Center, which is since the overall total is above the minimum, or maximum for the administrator to approve, we need to pass a resolution to approve it. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Davis,
Second.
second by trustee Stout. We have a motion and a second. Any questions by the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Cleveland?
Aye.
Davis? Trustee Husk?
Aye.
Aye.
Stout?
That's also approved. Item G is a resolution approving agreements with the Round Lake Beach Cultural and Civic Center and Beach Fest with the Improv Playhouse Theater Incorporated. We're going to be contracting with them to provide inflatable entertainment and staffing at Beach Fest, and also provide some entertainment opportunities for our guests. This will be making it much better to coordinate the whole Beach Fest process, since we don't have a carnival. This was giving us the opportunity to still provide some entertainment for the younger ones, and a lot more fun. This will work out well. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cleveland. Second by trustee Davis. We have a motion and a second. Any questions by the board? Please call the roll.
Aye.
Trustee Davis. Trustee Husk.
Aye.
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 That's also approved. Item H is a resolution ratifying and approving a collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police. We're going to be ratifying a 3-year agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police effective January 1st, 2020. They'll have, again, 3 years. Raises with the first year will be 2.75%, followed by 3% in 21 and 22. Feel that this is a good contract for everyone involved. We're glad that we're able to cooperatively work with the FOP to get this completed, and, well, we can all continue to work together, especially with things going on the way they are today. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee
Second.
Nichols, second by trustee Husk. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Davis. Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Stout. Trustee Cleveland.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item I is an ordinance amending the Round Lake Beach zoning code relative to brew pubs with tap rooms. We have someone interested in opening up a brew pub in Round Lake Beach. We need to amend our ordinance slightly to accommodate this, and that's all there is to it. Looking forward to, if this goes to completion, it'd be nice to have that in town. We've had people ask for years, why don't we have this? And I certainly hope they follow through. Any questions by the board? Is there a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Nichols.
Second.
Oh, second by trustee Stout. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Nichols.
Aye.
Trustee Stout.
Aye.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item J is an ordinance approving a special use permit with certain variances and departures for property at 880 East Rollins Road, Round Lake Beach, Illinois. This is a storage facility that's by Jewel up on Rollins and 83. They'll be improving their entrance to the facility through the Jewel parking lot. That'll be better for the people pulling in if there's a sign that's actually not on their own property. That'll help direct them to the right way to go in. So they went through the Plan Commission with a recommendation that it be approved by the board. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cleveland. Second by trustee Davis. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Nichols.
Aye.
Trustee Stout.
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Davis. Trustee Husk.
Aye.
That's also approved. Just a quick note on our budget. Some people might wonder why we keep 65% in our general fund at all times. Whenever we issue bonds, if we don't have that amount in there, we will pay a higher rate for any bonds that we issue for all the road work. We've done several $5 million bonds every 3 to 5 years. And again, we don't want to be paying a higher rate. And also, we have situations like this with the coronavirus so prevalent right now. We see a lot of stores shutting down, restaurants, bars. The village is going to definitely take a hit in revenue the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks. We aren't sure how long. So we do have a good, healthy fund balance. We can continue to operate our social services, all of our social services for the residents. And I'm just glad we have that money available, so we're not going to be in a situation where we're just like, do we have a police officer? Don't we have a police officer? Do we have public works on there taking care of the water, sewer? We're able to do that without a problem. Okay, anything else from the board? Well, we have no executive session, so at this time it's open to public participation. Anyone has a question or comment for the board, please come to the microphone. Either state your comment or ask your question. Well, again, thank you all for being here. We don't have any executive session, so there's no action on those items. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cleveland. Second by trustee Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy.